Okay, so this is not super glamorous, but this is my video to talk about the things that I have learned in this class, um, and then to apply them to a company close to me. So I'm Brandy Bunife, and this is my next to the last class for the program, and I'm very excited. So I work for the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. So I'm going to talk about what I learned in that context. And I have like a weird glare on my glasses. I don't know if I can make that go away. Okay. Okay. So the three things that I learned that I thought were the most important were the stakeholder impact analysis. I have notes here. The SWOT analysis, which I learned about in other classes, but I really felt like that was a great takeaway from this whole program. And then finally, the blue ocean strategy. Okay, so quickly, the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation in California, we have responsibility for 180,000 adult and juvenile offenders. In 2005, we added and rehabilitation to our name, and we really started focusing on rehabilitation as a way to decrease recidivism. So that means that our stakeholders sometimes are at odds with each other. So they include the governor, other legislative leaders, victims' rights advocates, victims themselves, and our inmate population and their families, and the public at large, who have widely different beliefs about corrections and whether we should lock them up and throw away the key, or if we should, help them come out as better people. Okay, so in a stakeholder impact analysis, the text defines that as a decision tool with which managers can recognize, prioritize, and address the needs of different stakeholders, enabling the firm to achieve competitive advantage while acting as a good corporate citizen. And the issues at stake are power, legitimacy, and urgency. So the way I handle that in my job is that I take part in the Division of Rehabilitative Programs. That's who I work for. I'm a librarian. We have a quarterly stakeholders advisory group meeting. So we have all those people I talked about before. They come together and we talk about programming and we talk about issues and who has the most power or the most urgency or is the most legitimate can change. So keeping abreast of that is really important, especially, for example, this is an election year, and keeping abreast of those issues, what political issues are going on is really important. So that's how a stakeholder impact analysis can be applied to where I work right now. Then a SWOT analysis. So a SWOT analysis, the text defines it as a framework that allows managers to synthesize insights obtained from an internal analysis of the company's strengths and weaknesses, with those from an analysis of external opportunities and threats to derive strategic implications. That's a lot of words. But basically, it means that you look at the company's internal strengths and weaknesses, and then the wider market's opportunities and threats. So I'm a government agency in corrections. There are government agencies and correctional agencies around the country, around the world. California is a big player, but Texas, for example, has more inmates than we do. There's private facilities, there are federal facilities, there's county jails, so there's a lot going on. So the issue of, for example, right now about college is really important. So we have to determine the benefit of funding and starting and building relationships with community colleges so that inmates leave with a degree and hopefully get a job and don't come back to prison. With funding issues, for example, the Obama administration was more open to dealing with crime and reinstating Pell Grants, things like that, than our current administration. So balancing which way we should jump based on funding, the SWOT analysis helps. And finally, I want to talk about the blue ocean strategy. So, a successful blue ocean strategy requires reconciliation of the trade offs between differentiation and low cost. So, our responsibility is to keep costs low because we're dealing with the taxpayers' money, but we also need to give a good product, and that product is public safety. So, we do the community a disservice if we save money by not offering college programming. And then an inmate gets out, he doesn't have a job, he goes back to his old ways, he commits another crime, he goes back to prison. That cycle is expensive. So we work really hard to help the public understand what we're doing and to provide a good product at taxpayer savings. Okay, so I appear to have gone over by 46 seconds. So I'm going to hurry up and end. But those are the 3 things that I learned, and I loved this class, and it was really exciting. And thanks.